Welcome. This presentation is about supporting students who are at risk. In this presentation, you'll hear introductions of myself and the school, which includes Reuther student demographics and Reuther strengths and weaknesses. I have provided a unit example that I've designed and implemented, a summary, and my references. Introductions. I am Ms. Damrow, and I have taught at Reuther for 7 years. In the past 7 years, I have taught health, physical education, and team leadership. Reuther student demographics. In this presentation, I am focusing on my 10th grade health students. This upcoming year, I will have 93 students enrolled in my health classes. My health classes are going to be divided into 7 different classes with four classes being blended learning and the remaining 3 being a credit recovery or skill building class. Out of my 93 students, 25% of my students are African American, 31% Hispanic or Latino, and the remainder 40% Caucasian. Then out of my 93 students, 12.5 of those students have a disability, 80% are classified as economically disadvantaged, and 11.3% of those students are English language learners. The students with disabilities and the students who are English language learners both receive support from our special ed teachers and our English language learner teacher. Reuther strengths. Reuther is an alternative high school in Kenosha, Wisconsin. With it being an alternative high school, we are able to have multiple programs within the school. The 3 main programs we have are blended learning, transition, and 11th and 12th grade skill building. Blended learning is similar to the comprehensive high schools in Kenosha. However, instead of being solely face-to-face, it's a mixture of face-to-face lecture and online digital learning. Transition is the second program, which is a half-day program, so half the students report in the morning and the other half report in the afternoon. This program is designed for students who are unable to make it through a full day of school. This is in an isolated setting, and the students work solely online to complete their coursework. And then 11th and 12th grade skill building. Skill building is our credit recovery program. So if they're in 11th grade, the students are working on getting any last-minute qualifiers, and they're working on skills for the ITED test, while the 12th grade skill building program is the year they take the ITED test and then review if they need to review any skills for future tests. Reuther also has many behavioral and academic interventions. Some of them include check-in and check-out sheets, PBIS, we are a PBIS school, and we also have set intervention times at the end of the school day where the students can go in and meet with their teachers to receive extra academic support. Reuther also has an initiative implemented called Intensive. So if students are struggling to get their work done during the school year, at the end of each quarter, the students have 2 extra days and are basically enrolled in an intense study hall that they can work with their teachers to catch up on any missing work or tests so they're able to pass their classes. Reuther also makes a lot of connections with families through phone calls, sending postcards home, and home visits. Reuther's weaknesses and improvement plan. Reuther does a really good job of getting our students to graduate. However, we don't really follow up with our students after they graduate. To help with this, Gateway has the Gateway Promise program, and this past year, 21 of our students got accepted into the Gateway Promise program. As a staff, we decided to become mentors for the students who got accepted into the program. So now on about a monthly or bi-weekly basis, we meet with our mentees and we discuss kind of plan of action, and we follow up with them to help them be successful post high school. Reuther should also implement a school to work program. This program involves students coming part of the day getting their academic success and then also working towards, their dream job. So they're gaining academic and they're also gaining work skills throughout the school day. So when the student does graduate, they will have the skills and knowledge needed to be successful in the career that they want. Family involvement. We do a really good job of communicating with the family, but we don't do a good job getting the family involved in the school. So some ideas that Ruther can implement to have families more involved in school include family nights and a PTO. Hopefully by getting the family involved more in the school, we can increase academic success and decrease any behavioral problems that may arise with their students. And the parents can give us really good input of how we're doing as teachers and what changes need to be done for the school. Sample unit. This is a unit from my alcohol, tobacco, and drug unit. So the purpose of this unit is to teach the students the effects of alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs. The essential question. This is the question the students are working towards, and it's how does alcohol, tobacco, and other types of drugs affect the body and society? In this unit, I use the UDL. So the tools that I used were recruiting interest, comprehension, and physical action. The next couple slides is the lesson breakdown. So lesson 1 is all about tobacco. So the students are going to be learning about the effects of tobacco and nicotine. They'll be learning about this through lecture, class discussion, and a KWL chart. For assessments, I will have a worksheet the students will complete throughout class and hand in at the end. And then the last 5 minutes of class, the students answer an exit ticket based off the learning targets of the day. Lesson 2 is about alcohol. So same thing, long-term and short-term effects of alcohol use, analyzing reasons why teens or students might use alcohol. We also go into talking about greater effects such as fetal alcohol syndrome as an infant. Once again, we use KWO charts, lecture, class discussions. In the alcohol unit, I also do stations to kind of get the students up, moving around, interacting with each other. I have a lot of hands-on manipulatives for the students to discover. One of the manipulatives is the alcohol impairment goggles. And when the students are completing the stations, they have a alcohol station data collection sheet that they turn at the end of class, and then they complete their exit ticket. Lesson 3. Lesson 3 is taught over 4 to 5 days, and it's about prescription and illegal drugs. So the student learns all the different types of drugs according to their classification. By the end of these days, the students should be able to identify the different types and put them into the appropriate classification. Throughout the unit or throughout these days, they have worksheets and a little bit of hands-on activities. One of them is an interactive online tool that the students will select a mouse. They'll see how the mouse reacts, and they have to identify what drug the mouse is on and the classification of that drug. And lastly is the summative project. They will be working on throughout the unit. So part 1 is the project. They'll be designing a drug booklet about the 5 classifications of drugs. They'll be identifying street names, long-term and short-term effects, and possible signs of overdose. And then they also have a written assessment. They have the opportunity to either take it online, so if a student needs the assessment read to them, they can do that online. Or I know some students like to write on the assessment so they can receive it on paper as well. And this is one of a former student's projects, the cover page, and then this is just one page of the drug booklet, and it is about cannabis. So in this presentation, you heard about the programs Ruther has to offer, Ruther's strengths and weaknesses. I provided you a sample unit, and these are my references. Thank you for listening.